Hi, this is odeean. Today I'm going to be looking at PP05W Weapons Specialist from iGear. Weapons Specialist, or from now on I'm just going to call him Ironhide, comes in a really nice box. So it's a glossy printed cardboard box which is very suitable for displaying the toy in when you're not using it, just as part of your collection. So on the front we've got this image of him in both modes, and on the side we have a big close-up of a computer rendering of his face. The back has pictures of all his gear and a massive blurb here which I'm not going to read. This is going to take too long to read now. You just have to buy the box to find out. So let's get this open and have a look. Alright, inside the box we have tons of stuff. So first off we've got instructions and a really nice glossy, focus happening here, really nice glossy card of Ironhide with his picture on the front and some tech specs on the back with some kind of technical readouts. I like how these third parties have all kind of agreed to do quality cards, because we weren't getting this from Transformers, but I always loved cards. I remember back in Energon we used to get some nice cards, and I'm happy to have these for my card collection. We have several trays, so let's split this. Okay, so here's the first tray. We've got movie weapons, alternate heads, hand extensions, a visor and a cannon. We'll put those on a little bit later. Then in the next tray we have more weapons, hand saws, classic G1 style gun, shoulder mounted bazooka, looks like a sniper rifle, communications dish, knife and the toy itself. Very securely packed away. So the other one I bought, the Ratchet, he even came wrapped in tissue paper inside that box. So quite a lot of effort has been put into keeping these guys nice and safe. So when we get Ironhide out of the box, he's in vehicle mode. His vehicle mode is pretty spot on for G1 accuracy. The look and shape, all the curves are very G1. I'd like to show the G1 toy, but I just don't know where to dig that up from around here. My one's pretty old and beaten up anyway, but he does have a nice use of chrome. You can see chrome on the bumper. This bumper is actually removable. You can just sort of pop it off like that if you don't like it, but I really do like it, so I like to keep it on. He has chrome light areas with a little bit of see-through plastic over the top with some kind of colouring behind it. I'm not sure if that's a separate piece of plastic or a separate chrome colour. It's very hard to tell, but it's a nice use of the shiny surface. He does have these lights, mirrors, which are totally unnecessary for them to put in, but they just wanted to go that extra mile, and that really is a nice touch there. So he's got these rear view mirrors. I like the way that his window appears half rolled down. Now that's actually part of the transformation, but it's a nice use of having to separate those pieces to make it look like you can see into the window. I appreciate that. He has nice chrome rims and real rubber tires. He rolls superbly, so very free rolling. All four wheels touch the ground. Very good traction, very nice rolling sound. As a bit of a size comparison, here we go. Here is a Classics Ironhide. Classics Ironhide, not one of my favourites. He really has a kind of exploded panel look going on there, but just as a size comparison, they are approximately the same size. I mean, this one turns into a Voyager, this one turns into a Deluxe, but in their vehicle mode, very, very similar. So the iGear Ironhide is really just a slightly oversized Deluxe in vehicle mode, and I can really appreciate that because he fits in very well with the other cars in Classics because of that. Those who say that this is not in the Classics line, I strongly disagree with that sentiment, because just because of the scale in vehicle mode, he fits in perfectly. I mean, I'm not getting out rulers and measuring real-life vans and trucks, but for me, that is spot on. Let's take this guy away and have a little look at the transformation. Okay, his transformation starts off by removing this gun from underneath. So his one weapon that stores with him in vehicle mode is this little guy, and he can keep this with him anytime. He can store it in his vehicle mode, so he's always got at least one armament. So putting that aside, the next thing we do is just fold these mirrors back. Now it's going to seem very panelly and a little bit complex, but really it is not too complex. It's just it requires some caution. So the first thing I'm going to do at the back is just split this like this, pop up these panels. So inside you can see he's got a couple of hands in there. I'm going to move these just so they're a little bit loosened, and I'm going to split the top like so. The next thing I'm going to do is just bend this joint in half here like that, revealing the inside section. Once we've done that, we can fold out the leg, bringing them down like this. So they just extend downwards. These flaps go up, and the foot just turns around like so. It's got very nice feet. Look at that. Balls in there. Okay. The next thing is we're going to untab these panels at the side. Be very careful. This is one of the danger points on this toy. If you look close, you'll see tiny little tabs here. So if anything on this toy is going to go, I'd say this is the one that will break. Most of it's pretty solid, but these little bits, just be extra careful of these. They're not hard to get off, but if you're not thinking about it, you'll just rip them off. So these wings fold up like this. The arm sections just rotate outwards. Oh, sorry, my mirrors are a little bit in the way. Rotate outwards, like so. These can go back. Now, the next thing we want to do is grab this whole upper section, and very much like Classics Prime, we just want to rotate with these up. We just want to rotate, not that bit, this bit, that's right, the windshield section around like that. Once that's rotated around, we grab these wings and rotate them to the back, fold them down behind. We grab the elbows and extend them out like this. Turn the arm section around like that. I think that's right. Anyway, bend these arms down. What we want is this little 3mm port to be on the outside edge. So that will put his hand backwards. The hand needs to be this way for the transformation, but we turn the hand back around for robot mode. Do the same for the other side. Now his shoulder flaps can go right the way down. You'll see on the back we have pegs and holes which need to go together. But in order to do that, we need to rotate the legs down as we rotate the body up. So that's firmly attached now. Now, this is probably the trickiest part. On the videos we first saw coming out of China, this looked like it was going to break off, and a lot of people were put off by the way that this transformed. I haven't really found a great way to do this, but it's pretty tough and pretty flexible. So you'll see kind of what I'm doing here. Like that. Alright? It's not a good way for me to say that. I arced it over and then rotated it. But this panel won't easily rotate on the ball. It's a kind of zigzag rotation to get it into this orientation. If you're careful and just take it easy while you're doing it, this won't be an issue. This piece of plastic is strong and flexible, so only people who are really going to just yank at this and not think about it are going to have a breakage issue with this strut. Just be careful with the way you do it. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. Grab this section, just bend it around, get our little rotation happening here. There we go. So it's tricky, but easy once you get the hang of it. So his legs are now looking a lot like legs. Make sure these flaps are down. The next part is this back part. So we split this in the original part of the transformation. So we move this over like this, and that will allow the head to bend up. The head has a very tiny little peg in here. I don't know if you can see that. It will peg in. You don't need to be too rough. On the back, keeping this section split so we can apply some force with our thumb here, we want to move this down, and there's a peg that this is going to go into to hold it in place. So now that's pegged in place. Now, you could try and shut this, but as you'll see later, this open section allows us to store weapons here. So we're not going to fully shut that. We're just going to leave it like that. So this is Ironhide now in his transformed configuration. So how is he for flexibility? Well, first of all, his head is on a ball joint. We get some nice side-to-side motion, a lot of round and a bit of up and down at the front. His arms are fully bendable, and there is a double joint in here, but you don't get a huge extra boost by having double joint, but you do get more than 90 degrees. His knees have got about 90 degrees depending on how much you move this flap. It's actually a bit less. What's that? Maybe 80 degrees. But if you open this flap, you can get more. His feet are on ball joints and go backwards and forwards. You have very good range of motion at the feet. He has a waist swivel. But again, some of this stuff on the back can get in the way of that. Oh, I've actually left out part of the transformation. No wonder. These wheels go in like that. There, that's better. Now we've got the full motion in the waist. So he's fully articulated. It's very nice articulation. You can get some really awesome poses out of him. One thing I've heard a lot of people say or complain about, thinking that they know what's happening with this figure before they even own it, is that this is the Transformers Classics Inferno transformation. This is not Inferno's transformation. This shares so little with Inferno's transformation that I think those people are saying it are just kind of deluding themselves because they don't want to spend $120 getting this. So I'll admit that these flaps at the back of the arms are reminiscent of Inferno, and there are some other qualities to this, such as these wheels having a not identical but similar location where they bend in. But that is not enough to say that they've copied or they've ripped off Inferno. I mean, you could equally say that the way his torso turns around, that he's ripped off Classics Prime. Every Transformer builds on what has come before it, and this has taken the best of a lot of different toys and combined them into one awesome package. And I strongly disagree that this is a rip-off. To me, this seems like a unique, very well executed product that is not ripping off any product that has come before it. I know someone's going to disagree with that, but that's my opinion on this. Let me get some of the weapons. First off, we have the weapon that comes under the car, under the van in vehicle mode. So this is his most simple gun, and it's adequate. I mean, they could have stopped there. In G1, they almost stopped there. I mean, he just had a little gizmo in the back of his van in G1, so not many toys these days really even have guns, but they didn't stop there. We all know what this set is about. This set is about absolute crap ton of weapons. So let's put that one aside. The next weapon is this thing. I don't really know what it is, but he had one in G1, so he's got one now. He can hold it. I don't know what he does with it. Don't much like the look of it, but it's there. Next, he has this. So what is this? This is a heads-up display, so he can fire bigger guns. So it separates like this. It scared the crap out of me the first time it happened. I thought I snapped it. But it separates so that you can put it around his head, goes over the ear socket, like the little sockets that the ears fit into, his communication modules or whatever they are, and it's got, look at this, that's beautiful. Focus. Now he can really look at what he's about to blow the crap out of. That's awesome, man. I think I was making this kind of thing on a few customs by hand years ago. I think this is one of those things that fans have always loved the look of, and Make Toys started it with that kind of heads-up display on Prime's armour last year, and now iGear have taken it to a whole nother level. Why does he have this heads-up display, I hear you asking? Because he has this massive freaking cannon that he needs to target. I can't get this whole thing in my shot here. Okay, so that's one cannon. Looking a bit closer. So it's unique. It's a very nice set. If they had sold this as a weapons pack, like some of the other things iGear have sold, like Gears of War, the weapons in this set alone they could have sold for $50. So I'm not saying the plastic's worth $50, but I'm just saying people would have paid it. I would have paid it. How many sets I've bought between $30 and $50 just to add bits and pieces on. This guy comes with a lot. That's why this first release of Ironhide and Ratchet with the weapons kits are particularly good value, I think, not expensive. Taking this off, the next thing we have is, I'm not sure if this is I think it's a sniper rifle, because it's got this this stand at the end. So to me it looks a bit like that 50mm cannon of that Jackal movie, like this bit at the end. I don't know much about guns, but to me that looks like it's got a movable handle here, so you could hold it with two hands. So just trying to finagle this in. How am I going to do that? Well, maybe not quite hold it with two hands. Still looks pretty cool. If you don't want to hold this in the hands, you can pull it off and stick it right into this hole. Now remember, the hole said that we're not going to cover up at the back. That hole is a port to hold weapons that he's not using at the moment. So now he's got a backpack loaded with a sniper rifle. So at the same time he's using his rocket launcher, he can be holding his sniper rifle to finish off the stragglers. Next, we've got this. I don't know what this is, except for the fact that it's awesome. So again, it just mounts in his hand. How do you mount in this hand? Okay, if I'm wrong, then tell me in the comments below, but as far as I can tell, this is not built right. The shoulder's supposed to go here, the hand is supposed to go here, and this guard should be on the front of the fist. I can't seem to figure a way to get this on. Maybe if I pull it apart and screw it on the other way, I might be able to do it, but something doesn't seem quite right with this bit. Next, we've got this knife. Now that is a knife. These knife weapons of Transformers have been getting more and more deadly lately. This one is even serrated, and it's even sharply serrated. I think if I ran my finger down that, I could actually cut myself with that. So it's got a 3mm attachment here, so it can just snap on if you want. Oh, snap on. Maybe it's the other side. Maybe there we go. So if you want to snap it onto the forearm, you can snap onto the forearm, or you can just stick it in his hand and have him gut somebody with it. You want a piece of me, Decepticon punk? Very, very scary stuff. Next we've got Movieverse guns. So these don't even match Classics Ironhide, but they just were so awesome that iGear must have decided we had to have them. Thank God they did, because they are another set of massive firepower for Ironhide, Weapons Specialist. They could do with some extra paint. Maybe I'll put some paint on them myself at a later time. But all the detailing is there, so if you wanted to do them up a bit, many opportunities to paint these. He comes with 2 of these saws for literally ripping his enemies to pieces with a saw. Pretty brutal stuff. Nice chromed blade. I don't normally like chrome too much, but on things like a blade, that's really exactly what I want. He comes with this little radar dish, which can click onto the port on his arm. And one of the reasons he has that radar dish is so that he can make phone calls. So if you look at his arm, just let me get a screwdriver, he's got a built-in telephone, just like Masterpiece Optimus Prime. So I don't know why Transformers need to have telephones in their arm, but they do, and I love it. So there is another feature. As well as this hand attachment, he also has a kind of all-purpose, just go down for a minute, all-purpose hand attachment, much like what we see in a few episodes of G1. I can't remember who froze that water on that episode, The Immobilizer. Was it Ironhide? Well, if it was, that looks like his... Maybe it was Cliff Jumper. Anyway, he could shoot out chemicals from here, or fire retardants, or whatever he wants. So that's a nice little handpiece. I don't think I'll be using it much. It's not my favourite, but it's nice to be in the set. And finally, alternate heads. So he's got really angry combat face and a kind of smirking happy face. Both of these are more comic styled. So if you like the way he looks in IDW's comics, I think I do actually like it. I've got those comics in the form of the hardcover. But if you like his more G1 styled mug, then you can stick with this. All of them can have this see-through part attached. So my final thoughts on iGear's Ironhide. This is maybe the best toy that I have bought this year. I know I buy a lot of toys and always saying this toy is the best toy, that toy is the best toy, but no, so far this year I think this is the best overall package out of anything that I've got, taking into account price, quality, the look, the scale, everything that I consider when I buy a Transformer or robot toy. This one has got the best balance out of any of them. Initially, it seems like it would be expensive. I think with shipping, this cost me $120. I didn't buy it straight from iGear. I bought it off eBay as a pre-order. But $120 shipped is not really that much for what you're getting here. This has got a kind of, almost I want to say, masterpiece quality of engineering to it, with a classic scale and a classics look, and a lot of options to look however you want. If you want it G1, if you want it to have some movie aspects, if you like weapons, then this guy's got it all. And as I said, the weapons on their own, I would pay $50 for that weapons pack. So what does that mean? Does that mean that, take out the shipping, does that mean I paid $60 for a Masterpiece Voyager figure? Is that what that means? Because I don't think that you could get better value than that anywhere. Even we're talking about official product, you couldn't get better value than that. So I highly recommend that anybody who can buy one of these just does it. Don't just buy one, buy both. Buy Ratchet and Ironhide. I know I didn't show Ratchet here. The reason I haven't shown him is mainly because he's very white, and white things, when I video them, don't turn out crash hot. I'll probably take some still pictures of the Ratchet. I love the Ratchet as well. He's got a few different options, I think out of the two, Ironhide's my favourite, just because I like the character of Ironhide better, I like the red better, and we've had less good versions of Ironhide over time. So, one more thing. Just want to show a scale shot in robot mode. Here's another red guy. So who we got here? Inferno, Classics Inferno. So you can see he's almost as big as Classics Inferno in robot mode. Not quite as bulky, but, you know, up there in height. So sorry about that, just had to get that out of the way. So thanks for watching my review of PP05W Weapons Specialist from iGear. This has been odeean.